What is going on, Guardians? TBL here, coming back at you guys this Monday afternoon to bring you a quick wrap up and talk a bit about the next in IGN's First series on Destiny 2. That's right, today they had their big PvP focus, and to be completely truthful, it was a bit more than I was really expecting to get. Not only did we get a good look at what the new control game mode is going to be playing like, we got to see the brand new Crucible map titled The Endless Veil, and it's a very pretty map. They gave us a nice little walkthrough of it, and to be perfectly honest, it kind of looks like a mixture of if you were to take Timekeeper and Shores of Time and like shove those together. That's what the Endless Veil kind of looks like. But then we got to see it in action with some control gameplay, and there have been quite a few changes to the control game mode. The control interview today was helmed by IGN's Destin Legary, and he got a chance to interview Crucible design lead Lars Bakken, and we wound up getting a lot of really great information about the changes to this game mode. So let's start off with some of those upcoming changes. First and foremost, points A and C, your starting home points whenever you start a game of Control, will no longer be neutral at the start of a match. They are going to be auto-capped for your team. So if at the very beginning of a Control game you spawn on C flag on, say, Shores of Time, C flag will be automatically capped for you. You don't have to worry about moving your team to it, taking it, and then moving forward to either flank A or to take B. This is going to lead to some very interesting start of match situations, where now Bungie is essentially promoting active play and trying to speed things up a bit by saying, hey, you can start that match heading straight for the battle at B, or if you want to be sneaky, you can try to get that flank and spawn flip directly on A rather than focusing on getting your own home point. Which, by the way, capturing control zones is a lot faster now, and you no longer need multiple people on a zone to capture it faster. They basically sped up the time that it takes to capture a zone. If you'll remember, currently in Destiny 1 right now, the more people who are standing on a capped zone, the faster it will capture. No longer is that going to be a thing. They mentioned that they don't want to have entire teams moving to a single point and then sitting there for an extremely long period of time, or one person sitting there for an even longer period of time trying to cap a zone. So they sped up that zone cap timing, and they made it so that you get that max speed just as a single person. So you don't have to worry about rushing to B by yourself while your team foolishly sits by their home spawn and doesn't really help you out at all. You'll be able to flip that spawn just as fast as if they were there. Additionally, to help speed things up even further, no longer do you have to neutralize a control point before you can capture it. From now on in Destiny 2, just reaching a control point and sitting on it will flip it to your team rather than you having to basically wrest control from the enemy team, let it sit as neutral, and then capture it. It's going to make things a lot faster for those of you who are actively trying to take control zone. Again, all of these changes are coming together in an attempt to make the control mode a little bit faster, help it play with a bit more energy. Because right now I can definitely agree with the notion that, sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain if you're the only person going to cap points that you really need. It takes a long time to flip those points. You have to neutralize it and then take it. This is really going to speed things up. And that mixed in with the fact that you no longer have to flip your spawn zones at the start of the game, it means you're going to be getting into the action, into that battle for the middle ground a lot faster, and I think that's definitely a good thing. For scoring, they had this to say: everything in Destiny 2 has been simplified. 1 kill will equal 1 point for your team. When you hold control of 2 zones, 1 kill will then equal 2 points for your team. And when your team is in the power play, aka you have all 3 zones captured, 1 kill will be worth 3 points. So as you can see, a very simplified version of the game mode we all know and love, and I gotta say I'm not too mad about that. It makes a lot of sense. I'm enjoying that this mode is going to be playing faster, and as a final note, they stated that the average runtime for a control game in Destiny 2 is generally going to take about 8 minutes, which sounds good to me. The gameplay that we've gotten to see certainly looked fast and frenetic, and if you haven't gotten a chance to see this new and improved control game mode, there will be links to the IGN First series videos right down in the description box below. Make sure you check them out. We got some really good footage of not only the Sentinel Titan, but also the returning Voidwalker Warlock class. That's right, we got to see some Voidwalker gameplay today as well. In addition to the control mechanics explanation video, as well as the tour of the Endless Vale, we also got 2 specific videos showing off about 4 minutes of gameplay for the Sentinel Titan and 4 minutes of gameplay for the returning Voidwalker class for Warlocks. And they both look really, really good. Alright, where do I start? Voidwalker. This is a class that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks because as of now, or at least until today, we didn't know if that class was going to be returning in any sort of meaningful fashion. We knew that Warlocks were going to have a Void class, but we didn't know if it was going to be the Voidwalkers of old in some sort of improved form in Destiny 2, or if it was going to be something completely different, like what Titans got with the Sentinel class. But oh man, we got some Voidwalker gameplay today, and it looks pretty good. First and foremost, Blink is returning as a jump option. We got to see that on full display there. Very surprising. I thought they would be moving away from the whole notion of using Blink as a movement option, but it's there. It looks like it's on about a 1, maybe 1.5 second cooldown, so you can blink and then blink again. We didn't get to see a chance for them to try to blink a third time, but I'd imagine there's a bit of a cooldown there. And it does retain that nerf from Destiny 1, where after you blink, your radar is gone for a few seconds. Yep, that little bitty nerf is definitely coming back. But we don't really know if there is a huge recovery nerf. Again, we're just kind of spitballing based off of the footage we got to see today. But I am very happy to see that Blink is returning and Nova Bomb along with it. In the footage, we get to see a lot of the Warlock abilities, a lot of the Empowering Rift, creating the sort of healing ward that if you stand in it, your health regens faster. But we got to see exactly one Nova Bomb, and it looks a little bit different from the Nova Bombs of old. This Nova Bomb was large, it traveled much slower, and it tracked enemies. But upon detonation, it seemed to fire out a mini tracking Axion Bolt-esque mini Nova Bomb that looked for another enemy to hit, which is definitely very interesting. That's something we discussed as a possibility, your Nova Bomb kind of dropping Axion Bolts that can track and damage additional targets. I'm definitely excited to see what some of the other variants for the Nova Bomb Super are going to be. So yeah, Voidwalker is returning, and one thing I definitely noticed for the gameplay videos today was just how fluid the movement system looks to be. I'll admit I'm one of the people who was a bit worried about how things were going to be changing movement-wise between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. As you guys know, we are losing the ability to Titan Skate and Warlock Surf, which is kind of the de facto way to move around in any sort of competitive way in Destiny 1, so losing that ability had me worried in Destiny 2, but from the gameplay we got to see today, it looked very fluid, especially with the Sentinel gameplay, which we'll get into in just a second. That guy was just all over the place, moving crazy, and the same can be said for the Warlock with the addition of Blink, kind of fluidly moving you about the battlefield. So thankfully it looks like Destiny 2 isn't going to be quite as slow as I was initially afraid of. But moving on, let's talk a bit about the Sentinel gameplay. There wasn't much in terms of new looks that we've gotten here. We knew about the Sentinel Titans and Titans in general's ability to put down a shield. We got to see a lot of that gameplay, but this is the first time I've really actually been able to watch gameplay of the Super, and it looks like a very fast kind of Arcblade-esque Super. Or rather, I suppose it's more like Sunbreakers in that you have the option to leave it as a purely melee super. It has like an aerial slam in the air. It's got this rush forward. If you've played Marvel vs. Capcom, you remember the old Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Stars and Stripes from Captain America? You've got that in here. And of course, you can throw your shield, which ricochets off walls and can hit multiple enemies. And we got a very quick look at that. And man, this super looks like it moves really quickly. It can cover a lot of ground in a very short period of time, which is great for the aggressive nature of the super. And of course, if you prefer to have your safety bubble back from Destiny 1, we do know that that's currently a variant option for this super, if you prefer the role of support or just defense. But beyond just seeing some of the class gameplay, we got to get a very good look at one of the exotics in Destiny 2, the Sweet Business, that awesome looking Gatling gun primary weapon. Now, we've seen this gun before, plenty of times as a matter of fact, in a lot of the Destiny 2 preview event kind of stuff we've seen for the past couple of months. But in PvP, it's looking like it could be a real contender. Now, this is the exotic auto rifle. It's a kinetic weapon, but it fires 360 rounds per minute with a magazine size of 90. Its special perk is called Payday, and it reads like this. Large magazine, increased hipfire accuracy. Holding down the trigger boosts this weapon's range and rate of fire, and automatically loads ammo pickups into the magazine. So basically, this thing starts out firing slow, and then the longer you hold that trigger, the faster it fires. And we get a great look at that in the Sentinel gameplay video from IGN today. When this thing gets going, it shreds pretty well. And being able to hold that trigger down and just keep firing so long as you're picking up ammo packs, you're probably not going to find too much usage for that inside of PvP, outside of niche situations, but in PvE, there's definitely utility there for you to just get down, start firing like crazy, taking out enemies and just picking up ammo and holding that trigger until the room is cleared. Can't wait to get my hands on that thing. And like I said before, in PvP, once you get past that initial slow rate of fire, this thing shreds pretty darn well, and we got to see a lot of strategy with that in the IGN video, where he'd throw down the shield, fire at it a little bit to get the fire rate going, and then move around a corner and just melt guys. Man, it looked cool. But anyways, Guardians, that's pretty much it for everything we learned from the IGN First videos today. It's a lot of information. I definitely recommend that you guys go through and watch the stuff that they put up. Again, there will be links to those videos in the description. A lot of good stuff in there. The next IGN First video is coming out tomorrow, and it's going to be about developing the story of Destiny 2. Should be a good one. Make sure you stay tuned here and over on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel, where we will be covering everything we learn about Destiny 2, moving up until the big beta release on July 18th. We're just over a week away, and I cannot wait. But alright, I'm out for now. Be sure to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I am TheBlackLink. You Guardians stay frosty.